it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we have another in our Understanding How to Build series, where we go over each leader in a given set to help you understand how to play them to suit your playstyle. Now, we've done all the other Vigilance leaders, we've done all the other three, and now we're on to the last one being REY. So if you're interested in learning how to build REY and understanding how to build it, then feel free to keep watching. And also remember to like, comment, and subscribe, because it keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts when my videos do drop. You can watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you best. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and understand how to build REY. So, starting off with the leader, we like to start with the leader, kind of see what it does, because some of the leaders have like a kind of gimmick or kind of a way to play that needs specific kind of things, like certain kind of cards and stuff, whereas some could be more generic. And it's best to understand before we understand how to build a deck, we'll understand what the leader wants to do. So we got REY more than a scavenger. She is a vigilance and heroic leader, so she gives you the blue and white traits. So that means you've got access to those without the aspect penalty. Because remember, with the aspect penalty, it means that if you have any aspect on a given card that doesn't match what's on your leader base, you pay an extra 2 for each one. So you have one that doesn't match, that's 2. If you have 2 doesn't match, that's 4 additional to its cost. So REY provides you with vigilance and heroic. So if you want to play any cards with those aspects, you don't have to worry about those because they have them on them. So with REY, also she gives you some traits. So she gives you the force trait and fringe trait. Now our fringe doesn't have any relevance at all. It's got nothing that connects them at all or makes use of that trait. You have to worry about that. But the force trait is something you got some good use of especially in her own aspect, being vigilance. So blue. And also some other aspects as well. So you can get some good use out of her being a force unit as well, but not so much about being a fringe unit. And also she has a deploy. She deploys at 6 resources, so her epic action allows to deploy when you hit 6 resources, so as early as turn 5, or maybe early if you ramp. And that's not too early, that's not too late. But also she also does come with some decent stats, being 2 power and 6 when it comes to health. So while the 2 power isn't the best, it's still something. And 6 health is pretty nice because it's out the way, being a 5 or 6 and above is nice because it takes you out of the range of takedown, which takedown can take out anything that's 5 or less. So being on 6 means when you come out, you're not just taken out by takedown. Not only that, but she does have a nice effect, and it's all about supporting the little guy essentially, powering up weaker units. That way they're a little bit stronger. Because what her effect does when she's in leader area before she deploys is by paying 1 and tapping yourself as an action, you can give an experience token to a unit with 2 or less power. So it is very specific in that it has to be 2 or less power, so if it's got 3 or more power it won't affect it, but I think 2 or less power, so normally weaker units, can gain experience from REY, which is quite nice. The only problem is if you're playing, you have to play below curve when using effects on the undeployed side when she's in leader area. You have to pay 1 as well with it, so you can't just turn 1 pay a card for 2 and then boost it. You'd have to play a 1 cost. You have to pay a little bit behind to be able to make use of it because it costs as an energy resource cost. But when you do deploy, she has the same kind of effect when it as on the leader side, but now she has to attack to get that, and it does the exact same thing. Just you need to attack, and you can give an experience token to a unit with 2 or less power. But luckily, if you look at her stats, remember, she is a 2 power unit. So when she attacks, you can give her power to boost to herself, making her a 3/7 on her first attack. And not only that, she also has Restore 3, so when she attacks, she heals 3 damage in your base, which is very relevant, because it kind of goes well with the whole thing with Vigilance of healing, and that just means you can get a good amount of healing when attacking with her. So Restore 3 is really relevant, because remember, when leaders do deploy, no matter if they were rested or not before, they come in active, so they can attack straight away. And Restore 3 means you're going to heal a good amount of damage from your base. So that is the leader itself, and that's what she provides. A pretty good unit. I'm looking forward to trying her out as well, because she has some similarities with Chirrut, and she looks like quite a fun unit. Not only that, she also has a showcase, and this is what a showcase looks like. Remember, with showcases, it's just an alternative art, so there's a more shiny alternative art of the card. But when it comes to any art, it's always subjective. So you can like it, someone else might like it, but it all comes down to what your preference is. If someone else doesn't like it, you don't have to worry about that. If you don't like it, that's fine. You just still have to get it. But then it comes down to if you like it, it's pretty nice. And I reckon the showcase for REY is very nice, very nice with the blue background with saber and stuff. So I'm looking forward to maybe picking it up. But that's the showcase. Now, there are different ways to play REY, and there are 4 different ways to play REY, because remember, with your leader, you also have a base, and that provides you with 3 different aspects. So REY always provides you with the heroic and vigilance aspects, being white and blue. And now, in a combination with a base, you can go in the 4 different aspect combinations. You can either go double blue if you have a blue base, blue green if you have a green base, blue red if you have a blue red base, and then blue yellow if you have a yellow base. So depending on what base you play, what aspects on your bases, then you can get a different aspect combination. There's 4 different ways you can go with it. Now, before we do get in these different ways you can play it, I do want to go over the ratios as well, because it's important to understand when you want 3, 2, or 1 copies of a card. Because in this game, you can have a maximum of 3 copies of any given card, and it basically there's different ways and different kind of cards you want to play it. 3 copies, 2, or 1 copies of. So with 3 copies, that's cards you want to see as either as early as possible or as many as possible as quickly as possible. So things like Quill here, he is a nice 2-drop, so you can play him as early as turn 1. He's got 2 power and 3 health, means he's within range for REY to basically give an experience token, either when deployed or not. He also has Restore 1, so when he attacks, he heals 1 from your base, which is very nice. And he also has a good on-attack, where you discard a top card of your deck, and if it shares an aspect with your base, you return it to your hand. So it's very nice for like a mono blue build. You can get basically just gain cards and gain extra cards, give you more options. And this is a card that you want to have 3 copies of because you want to see it as early as possible so you can drop it turn 1. So things like that, where you want to see them early as possible, as quick as possible, and as many as possible, potentially, it's a good card to have. And then for cards you want 2 of, these are normally cards that you don't want to see too many of early, or you want to see more. You want to see a more late game and not early game. So normally you'd have 2 costs. It comes with like the big boss monsters, like heavy costing cards, or cards that aren't going to be useful early but can be useful later. Like Protector here is a very cheap card, being 1 cost to give a 1/1 boost to a unit, and then gives a Sentinel. Very good, very nice. But the only thing is, you need a unit to upgrade this on. So if you don't have any units at all to play them on, it's not useful. But when you're in the later game, when you've got more units out and you kind of want to protect them, like keep your opponent from attacking into them, you might want to give Sentinel to a unit to kind of draw any attacks away from that unit or those units or your base and put it on a specific unit in play. So you might want to have this later game but not early game, so it's a nice one to have 2 of. And then you've got 1 of text, which is more like the tech choices, so cards that you've got in for a specific matchup, that if they come up, they're good. If they don't come up, they don't care. And those ones you normally want to have 1 copy of, so they don't clog and you don't want too many of them, because if they're not useful, they're just dead to your hand or not great. But if they're useful and you see like the 1 copy of it, then you're fine. And normally if you see the 1 copy and you need it, it's good. If you see the 1 copy and if you need the 1 copy and you don't see it, you just didn't see it. So things like Second Chance here being a very costly upgrade, but a very strong effect of when unit is defeated, you can play it for free from your discard pile. Very nice effect, but you might not want it in all situations. You might tech just 1 of. And also do remember, if you do tech things like this, and there's decks where they're not useful of, if you don't see it, you don't care, and if you do see it, you can always just resource it. So that is it with the ratios. So hopefully that helps you understand when you want to play 3, 2, or 1 copies of a card. And now that that's over, we're going ahead and check out the different aspect combinations, starting off with the mono one. So with mono blue, so double blue, or however you want to call it, double vigilance, double blue, mono vigilance. This is what you go for, and every aspect has bases. Now they have just 1 rare base because we didn't get any new ones in set 2. So you have 1 rare base, which is 25 health, but gives you an epic action, being an action you can use once per game. That could be pretty strong. And then the other bases are all just different places, but all have 30 health and no effect. Now, with the rare bases, they do come in with less health, so 5 less health. So you've got to kind of figure out if the 5 less health is worth having an effect. So if the effect on it is worth losing 5 health in your base. And for a security complex, being the one for blue, is give a shield token to a non-leader unit. So you can't put on your leader, so unfortunately you can't put on REY. But any other unit you can put on once a game, you can put a shield token on a unit. That does take up an action, but that could be pretty strong. And it's quite a decent one for in the game. But you got to basically just work out if you want to have the less health, which could be make you susceptible, and maybe less vigilant against aggression or aggro. But those are the bases. So if you combine one of the blue base with your lead, you again get 2 blue aspects, which means you can access to the double blue ones. And now for set 1, there was a whole thing where it was a very limited card pool, because normally you have 2 different aspects. If you wanted to go blue green, you'd have all the blue cards, all the green cards that have access to without the aspect penalty. But if you went for double blue, then you lost access to a whole other aspect just to have access to 3 cards that were double blue. So at the time in set 1, there's only really 1 leader in each aspect that was good to have double aspect. But the rest of them weren't great. But now with a new set, means we got double the cards, which means double blue cards, double blue white cards, and double blue cards. So where we got double the card pool, it's now more relevant and actually more possible for all leaders, for all or any leader to have go double aspect. And for Rey, she can be do well on it, because not only do you have access to cards from set 1 being Bindo, Protector, and Vigilance, but you also have now Sugi, Second Chance, and Midnight Repairs. Now these are probably pretty nice cards to have access to. Now while you do lose access to another aspect, you do have access to these ones. And also now the card pool is kind of doubled, you have more that's normal blue or blue-white cards to kind of still build a decent deck. Now these Bindo is quite a nice one, because it's a Sentinel, which means you can protect Rey from being attacked when she's deployed. And also when he attacks, you can make the next non-heroic or non-villainy card you play cost 2 or less, making you play things a little bit cheaper, meaning you can play more things in a turn. You also have Protector as an upgrade, which can give Sentinel to a unit. So it means you can give it to Rey, so to force attack Rey over everything's in your board, or give it to another unit to kind of make it so that you can't attack Rey. So a pretty nice card you can put, and it also gives a nice little stat boost, and also costs a cheap little 1 cost. You also have Vigilance, because every aspect has a double aspect card in their of an event, a 4-cost event that is the same name as the aspect itself. And Vigilance is 1 for blue and fits very well with the theme, because what you want to do is pick 2 or 4 options. You can pick 2 or 4 options in any order, so you can either mill 6 cards from your opponent's deck, heal 5 from your base, or heal 5 from a base, but you can use your opponent's. Don't know why you would want to choose your opponent's. But you can also defeat a unit that's for 3 or less health, so something that's quite weak, or give a shield to a unit. So that's pretty nice. Some pretty nice effects, because really well what the aspect wants to do. Because if you didn't know, each aspect has kind of like a theme. And for Vigilance is all about playing defensively with the ability to heal, remove dangerous units from play, and protect your base from attacks. And now this aspect is perfect for if you want to play a patient play style and kind of endure being aggroed down and then come out on top after controlling and winding down the game. So this kind of like Vigilance kind of really goes in for it, and also it's a really great way to play for blue, because blues, once again, as I said, you got a lot of heal in blue, you got a lot of protection, and you got a lot of removal in like events and stuff like that, which is really nice. So those were the first 3 cards we got from set 1. And for set 2, we get double the amount, so we now get Sugi, being a good unit. Being a 4-cost 4/6 is very good, and when your opponent's any of your opponent's units are upgraded, she gains Sentinel. And not only that, but she can all be smuggled in as well using new keyword smuggle by paying 6 and only 1 blue. So you can even play her even if you don't. You can buy a player using smuggle even if you don't go for double blue. You also got Second Chance, which is a very nice card, being a very costly upgrade at 4, but allows you to give an effect of a when defeated effect to a unit you play it on. Meaning that when it's defeated, you can play it back out for free from your discard pile during this phase. So if you got something out and you kind of want to keep it protected and bring it back and protect it from being, well, if it is removed, bring it back, you can do that, just bring it for free. Gives no stat boosts, but it gives you a way to kind of bring a card back if it does get removed. And then the last one you have is Midnight Repairs, being a very good healing card, where for 2 you can heal 8 damage from any number of units. Doesn't heal base, but it does fill all your units. If you've got something that's taking damage, not dead yet, you can always heal it back, almost like completely potentially, or any amount of any amount of damage on units by using Midnight Repairs. So pretty nice strong cards. Now if you want to go for a more controlled deck and go for a very controlling, very blue deck, this is a good way to go, and it's probably a way I would play Rey myself. Then we go into Command. Now, Command is a different aspect. And you might be thinking, what does Command want to do? Well, Command is all about accelerating your resources, so ramping up, and basically playing either a lot of units that go very wide with your board, or playing very big, strong units and strengthening the ones you already have in play. Now, this is an aspect where if you want to overwhelm your opponent with a massive board, or just start overwhelming them with like huge units that are quite hard to deal with, then this is the perfect one for you. Because you have access to some really nice cards. In the good side, you've got some really strong, really big cards that kind of want to bring out board. So you've got some pretty powerful ones like Sendai Peacekeeper, being a very good unit, very cheap one at 3. May only have 1 power and 5 health, but that still is a good amount of bulk, so some damage. But not only that, when it attacks, it can be even more aggressive or even stronger by having Raid 2 and Restore 2. So Raid meaning when it attacks, it gains a power equal to the amount in Raid, so in this case 2, so it's swing and gain 2 power. And it's got Restore 2, which is doing the same thing, which when you attack, you instead of gaining power, you heal from your base, equals the amount on the card. So Restore 2 would heal you 2 from base. So meaning that he's a 5 health guy who would then swing for free, and heal you 2 from your base, which is very, very nice. So it goes very well with Rey, where she restore 3 when she attacks, and this restore 2. I mean, you can restore 5 from just those 2 attacks, which is very nice. You've also got some very big units as well, like General Riken you get for set 2, and Home 1 for set 1. Now General Riken is a very nice one, very good stats as well, being a 6 cost 5, 7. And when he's played or when he attacks, you can choose a friendly unit, and if it's got Sentinel, you give an experience to it, so power amp. But if it has Sentinel, you give it. If it doesn't have Sentinel, you give it Sentinel for the phase. I mean, you got this as a way to kind of give something Sentinel, and then from then on, you can keep attacking with every turn and give something Sentinel, or if it's got Sentinel already, give it some experience. So very nice and very solid stats to boot. And then you got Home 1 being a more of a spaceship one, so 8 costs, be more expensive, but in the space arena, which doesn't have as much going on there as, say, with the ground arena, but comes in with solid stats at 7/7, and also brings with it Restore 2 on itself, so when it swings, it heals 2 from your base, and gives all your other unit Restore 1, so things like Rey, if this is out, would basically be healing 4 when it attacks, because the Restore, just like Raid stacks, so you add up the total, so if you got Restore 3, and then gain Restore for 1 from Home 1, then it will gain Restore 4. Not only that, when Home 1 is played, you can play a heroic unit out from your discard pile and play it with its cost being 3 less. So it doesn't make it completely free, but it does reduce the cost, so you can play potentially Sundari Peacekeeper for free. Or if you've got 3 more resources, you can play General Riken off it for free from your discard. Well, free is in the cost. You also have some very good events in Heroic as well, in the Heroic side of Command, being like Spark of Hope, being like this is before we only had 3 ramp cards in set 1, being 1 for the dark side of green, 1 for normal green, and 1 for double green. Now with set 2, we get 1 for the heroic side of green, which is Spark of Hope. Now this allows you to choose a unit in your discard pile, and if it was defeated this phase, you put it into a player's resource, and it's quite cheap because it's 2 costs as well. So it does have more of workaround, like more stuff to put into it that kind of trigger it, which means you have to have a unit die up to that phase, and then you can ramp it from your discard. But that's very easy to do, because if you've played a unit out, you can always suicide it to your opponent's unit, or trade it with your opponent's unit, so it kills itself and takes something out with it, or put some damage on something. Then you Spark of Hope, then ramp it to your resources, which is a pretty nice play. Not only that, but if you do get up to high resources, you can use U-Wing Reinforcement, being a very good event. 7 costing, so it's quite expensive, but you can spam the board with fair few units, because it allows you to search the top 10 cards of your deck for up to 3 units with a combined cost of 7 or less, and play each one of them for free. So you can either play 1 big 7 drop or less, or you can play 2 with a combined cost of 7, or you can play up to 3 units that have combined cost of 7, so maybe like a 3 cost and 2 costs, maybe even like a 5 cost and a 2 costs, or just 1 big 7 drop. So that's the heroic side of Command. Then we got on the normal side of Command, we got some pretty nice cards. You have some cheap ones like Scanning Officer and Yularen. Scanning Officer being like an anti kind of smuggle card, which is weird to bring something out with smuggle when it comes out. This allows you to look at the top 3 or the 3 resources your opponent controls, and if there's any cards with smuggle on them, you can defeat them. And then for each one you do defeat, you replace the top card of your opponent's deck to the resources for each one you defeated. And then you got Colonel Yularen, which adds more heal, so there's a lot of healing with this combination. And because when it's played, or when you play a command unit, including itself, you heal 1 damage from your base. So very nice heal there. And then you even have bigger ones in just normal side command, being Arquiton's Assault Cruiser. I think that's how you say it. And this is a big space unit, being a 8 cost. It has 7/8 for its stats, so 7 power, 8 health. Ambush as well, so you can attack a space unit the same turn it's played. And when it does attack and defeat a non-leader unit, you can put the defeated unit in play as a resource you control. So this allows you to ramp by killing off your opponent's cards and putting them into your resources as more resources, which is very nice, very cool unit, and not unique as well. So you can play multiple of these on the board and just start ramping up, taking your opponent's units as your resources. Not only that, but you have some good events. You have resupply as a good way to ramp, being one of the few ways to ramp, and it's just basically for free. Play itself as a resource. Comes in rested, because unless I was stated, it comes in rested. And you even got timely intervention. Now this is a very good one, because for 1 you can play a unit from your hand and give it ambush for your phase, and you do still have to pay the cost for the card. You don't play it for free, but it does the same thing as your base, which I've kind of forgot to go over as well, because your base is Energy Conversion Lab as the rare base for your option for green, and this allows you to play a unit that costs 6 or less and give ambush for the phase. And just like with timely intervention, you have to pay the cost for the card, but it has the benefit of giving an ambush, meaning you can ready and attack an opponent's card in that same arena, the same turn it's played, when normally it would come in rested. Timely intervention also has a smuggle cost, so you can always resource it and then use it and smuggle it out later to use it, which is only like two resources, which is very nice, and it's a very good card if you know how strong ambush is. It's a very nice card. So that's what you have the option for command. Now I'll go into aggression. So for aggression, this is what we have, and aggression is very good for the light side. It's just like its name says, it's very aggro, and the playstyle for aggression is essentially you want to attack with maximum efficiency and do out loads of damage. And this is a great fit if you're a player who likes to like a fast pace, very aggressive gameplay, and you like to break through your opponent's defenses, or just basically just hurl damage at their base as quickly as possible, just to win as aggressively as possible and quickly. So if you're a very aggressive player or a very aggro player, this could be the one for you. And with the rare base for aggression is Targeting Town, and its epic action allows you to deal 3 damage to a damaged not leader unit. So as you'll see with with all the rare bases, they don't really affect the lead or can't be used on the lead. But this one's quite a nice one, because while you can't just deal 3 damage to a unit, that'd be pretty nuts. Or not nuts, but still pretty good. But if you do try to take something out and you don't get quite enough there to trying to damage it, take it out, you can always use Target Town to kind of finish it off, which is a good way to do it. And then for units and cards, you've got some pretty nice ones. You've got like some good space units like Green Squadron A-Wing and Red 3 being very cheap units that have raids, so that they can, when they're attacked into, they don't hit as hard, but when they attack, they hit pretty hard. And even Red 3 giving all ever friendly heroic cards, including your leader as well, because she's a heroic card, and extra raid 1 as well. You also have Wrecker as well, being a very big, very good unit, being a 6 cost with very solid stats at 7/6, so hits very hard and some decent bulk. Has Overwhelm as well, and that means that if he defeats a unit and the damage exceeds the health on the card, that excess damage is dealt to the base. So kind of like piercing. And when he's played, you can defeat a friendly resource, and if you do, deal 5 damage to a ground unit. It's a very nice way to kind of spread out, like just do some damage to a unit, take it out without even needing to attack. You not only have that, but you have some good upgrades and events. You have Heroic Resolve, being a very nice one, a 1-cost event. It gives 1/1 to the stats, but also has a later effect you can use by using its action. By paying 2 and defeating a Heroic Resolve on the same unit, you can attack with it, give it 4 extra power, and give it Overwhelm for that attack as well. So it gets 4 extra power and piercing, so if you want to take out a unit and also deal some damage to base, you can do it from that. You also have 4 calls, I believe, as well, where if you go for a more heavy heroic side of the deck, you can use this to deal quite a bit of damage, because you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and for each heroic card revealed, you do a damage to your opponent's base. Then you discard any number of the cards that are revealed, and put the rest on top of your deck in any order you want. So very nice way to arrange top cards of your deck and see what you're going to get. And if anything there is something you don't want, you can discard it and then keep the rest on top. And then we also have the non-heroic side of aggression. So you've got some really cheap, nice units like Bentic Tubes, Cantina Braga, and Patissi Insurgent. All very cheap units can just basically, they do more damage when they're attacking than when they're attacked. Because while they don't have the best, like the most aggressive stats, when they are attacking, they can do quite a bit. Like Bentic Tubes for 1, he's a 2/2. But when he attacks, you can give another friendly heroic aggression unit, raid 2, meaning it swings for an extra 2 damage. You've got Cantina Braga, why it only has no attack but has 3 health. When it does attack, it gains raid 2, so it swings for 2. And you've got Patissi Insurgent, where if you control another aggression unit, it gains raid 2 as well. So it's got 1 power and 4 health, but swings and gains an extra 2. You also have Force Throw, which is a very nice card, one of those force cards I was talking about that goes well with REY, where you can choose, for 1, you can choose a player and make that player discard a card from hand, so you, your opponent. There is sometimes relevancy when you want to do it on your own, because the only time you want to do it, you basically make yourself discard a card, is if you control a force unit, which luckily REY is. And then if you do control a force unit, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of the card discarded by its effect. So it's essentially a way to kind of, for 1, just make a person discard a card, you and your opponent, so you can make your opponent do a bit of hand control, make your opponent discard a card. But then if you control REY or basically any other force unit, you can deal damage to any unit you choose by equal to the cost, damage equal to the cost of the card discarded. So that's what sometimes you might want to discard a card from yourself, because if you've got a very high costing card, like an 8-cost card, you can use it on yourself to make you discard a card, and where you get to choose, or your opponent gets to choose what card they discard. If you discard the 8 cost, you can then do 8 damage to something on board, potentially taking something out. So it's a nice way to use it. And also you have Pillage as well as a never hand control card, where for 4, you can choose a player and make them discard 2 cards from the hand. So you can play a bit of like a hand control variant with aggression as well. So while you're being very aggressive, you can reduce the options your opponent has, so they kind of struggle. So that's aggression. And then we come to the last aspect, being Cunning. So Cunning is more of like a little bit different in the fact that it's one of those like jack of all trades ones where Cunning wants to adapt to any situation with powerful and immediate effects, and also has lots of tools for disrupting your opponent's gameplay. This aspect is well, basically perfect for players who want to like respond quickly to things and have an answer for almost anything your opponent has to do. So if you want to basically be able to play a very controlling game and just have an answer to everything, Cunning is a very good one for you. And it does have a rare base, but it's not the best one. It's not one that I've really seen play where the other ones usually still play, and that's Jealousy, because it's a epic action. It allows you to give a non-leader unit -4 power for this phase, so you just weaken something, making it easier for you to attack and take something out, attack without taking much damage back in retaliation, or make it so something your opponent has can't do as much damage or much annoyance to you by having -4 power. But not only that, but you have some good units as well. So you have some pretty nice units in, and pretty cheap ones as well. You can do quite well with REY, where you can upgrade them. Where you got Chopper, Grogu, and Rogue Operative. So I almost got mixed up saying that one. But these are all ones you can boost up with REY on both our leader side and on the deployed side. And Chopper's a nice one where you can attack and milk your opponent with a mill top card of the deck. And if it's an event named mill, you tap down one of the resources. You can have resource control there. You got Grogu as well, who can just tap himself to tap any unit, and it's a 0/5, so you've got a good amount of bulk but does no damage. But then you'll mostly be using him to tap things down. And you even got Rogue Operative, which is a 4/2 for free, which is not too bad. And you can make it a 3/5 with REY's effect. And not only that, but it also has Saboteur REY 2. So REY 2 meaning when it attacks, it gains extra 2 power, and Saboteur means it can ignore Sentinel and it defeat any shields on a unit it attacks. Pretty nice there. And also you've got some really nice events as well. So you've got Spark of Rebellion being a very good hand control card where you can look at the top of your opponent's hand and discard any card from it. So you can look at your opponent's hand, have some hand knowledge about what they've got, and then rip a card out of the hand of your choosing. So you can look at the hand. If they've only got one card they can play turn 1, you group that out of the hand. So that way they don't play anything turn 1. You've done this to basically have the hand knowledge and rip out something you don't want to play, and then you move on to the next turn they haven't done anything. You also got Let the Wookiee Win. Now this is one that gains more benefits if you have a Wookiee, but then it doesn't matter if you have a Wookiee, you just still get some good benefits. Because for 2, you give your opponent an option to choose out of, and there's 2 options. They either let you untap 6 resources, which basically lets you untap 6 for the cost of 2, very very nice, or they let you ready a unit. And now if that unit is a Wookiee, then you can attack with it straight away, and then get 2+ power for our attack. But now if it's not a Wookiee, you just get to restand a unit, and now your opponent's got to think about it. Do they want to give you 6 resources? You can make use of them and potentially play more cards for that phase, or do they want you to ready a unit to be able to attack with it or use its effect? Because if you have a unit on board that can potentially swing for game, they might not want to attack, but they don't really want to give you 6 resources. They might go for untap 6 resources, so you can play a thing, but it won't come in active, rather than be able to attack with something that can kill them. Or if it's like early in the game, they might not want to allow you to play more things to the board and let you restand something, which you can then attack with or use its ability. So very nice, and it can even let you ready things like race. You can then swing again, boost up something, and heal. So they might have to have a very tough choice of what they want you to restand. And then we also have cards in the non-heroic side of Cunning. And you got things like some nice space units like Mining Guild TIE Fighter and Outer Rim Headhunter. These being very cheap and low-powered units, but then again, these are ones that you can choose at least once or twice to boost with REY, because Mining Guild Tighter is one you can play on turn 1 and also get the boost off with REY by using effects. It only costs 1, and it's a 1/2 but can boost up by REY. And on attack, you can use it to pay 2 resources, and if you do draw cards, it's a way to kind of draw more cards, but then not really play anything, but just gain you more options. And then you got Outer Rim Headhunter as well, which is a 2 cost, so you can't really boost the same turn as like with Mining Guild, but it's got raid 1, so it attacks for a little bit more, and also can boost with REY. And on one attack, if you control REY, your leader unit being deployed, you can rest on the leader unit. So while REY's out, you can basically get more use out of this when it attacks. You also have like some good units like Tobias Beckett, being a solid 4 cost that has 4 or 5 to its stats. And then when you do play a non-unit card, which there's a fair few in both blue and also yellow, you can exhaust the unit that costs the same as or less than the card you played. You can use this once around. But not only that, I got Tobias back up here as well, because he's also one of those cards which can be smuggled in, and he can be played even if you don't run Cunning among your cards, because you can be smuggled in, because his smuggle cost is 5, but with a different aspect being Vigilance. And since REY is Vigilance, you can run Tobias without having any Cunning across your base and lead. Not only that, but Cunning does have some very good events. They have a lot of events and very good ones. So you've got Surprise Strike, which is the one that allows you to attack with a unit and have 3+ power to that unit's attack for that attack. So you can swing with REY and swing for an extra 3 power, which is quite nice. Or you got things like Evacuate. This is a new one and kind of a board wipe, but then like a not as great board wipe as Super Laser Blast, but one that's given to any different deck that is playing Cunning, or even if not playing Cunning, you can still play the Espipane. Because this allows you to return each non-leader unit to his owner's hands. Everything that's not a leader goes back to hands. If you got REY out and never cards, you can bounce everything back, and REY stays, and so does your opponent's leader if they have it deployed. So this is a nice one. So if you want to play a more controlling color, this could be a good way to play. And this is kind of the same one kind of way that majority saw loot played as well as command, and it's a good way to play with some Cunning being a very good aspect. Not only that, but you do have some. You do also have just basic heroic cards. Now the thing is, where REY was, she's technically like a rebel with a cause. There was no I don't think it was a rebellion or its resistance in the sequel films. So while she doesn't have a rebel trait, the most of the things in the not basically just normal like the heroic side, especially set 1, mainly helps out heroic was mainly to do with rebels. And where she's not a rebel and you might not play many rebels, there's not too much of a benefit playing like most of the at least with set 1, they're just heroic cards, but there are some heroic cards like are just heroic that can be used. So you got Grief Karga being a nice way to kind of look for upgrades. You can look for things like Jedi Lightsaber and stuff like that, which are pretty good ones for REY to kind of find and attach to her. You got Tech being a very good heroic one, where Ways Out, all your resources gain smuggle, and their smuggle costs are their cost +2, and their icons the same as icons as normal. And he himself has a smuggle cost as well, being 4 and heroic. So he's a pretty nice one to turn any of your resources actually into cards played, which is good for the later game. You also have some good events like This Is the Way, being a way to look for your Mandalorians, which there are fair few in blue, and or upgrade cards. You can find some good upgrades, and while you don't play anything that's actually the board like Grief Karga, you do look a little bit deeper at 8 rather than 5, and also add up to 2 rather than just 1. Not only that, you also have Smuggler's Aid being another card you can smuggle in, and also a nice one you can use to heal, because just like REY, it can heal free from your base because that's its effect. Now you might be thinking, right, that's alright, that's all fine and dandy, but what kind of cards do the REY's aspects kind of give? Because we've talked about double blue, we haven't talked about blue and blue white. Well, REY can offer you some pretty nice one, like because of her force aspect, she offers you some pretty nice cards, and with the release of set 2, we've got even more better like heroic blue cards and just normal blue cards. Because you got things like a lot of force units like Yoda and REY, like REY being a new legendary unit from set 2, and also Yoda being a good one from set 1. Being some very nice force units that also give you some healing. Because Yoda, he's a free cost, 2/4, has restore 2 when he swings, he heals 2 for your base. And when he is defeated, you can choose any number of players, and remember, both players, you and your opponent, are both players in the game, and they draw a card. So when Yoda's defeated, you can choose yourself and let you draw a card, which is very nice. Not only that, you got REY, who comes out with a pretty solid stats, a little bit better in the lead, a little bit better in the lead, and comes down at 5, so a little bit earlier when she deploys herself. And she also counts as a force unit because she's a force unit, and when she attacks, you can heal 2 damage from a unit, being herself or any unit you control. And if it's not a heroic unit, you can also give a shield token to it, so it's pretty nice. You have some good space units as well, like Concord Dawn Interceptors, being a very good free cost space unit. 1/4 is not the best, that's 1/4, but it does have Sentinel, and it's got an effect where it's attacked, it gains extra 2 power. So when it's attacking, it doesn't do too much, but when it is attacked, it does a lot more. And also, it being a 1 cost, 1 power unit means it can be boosted by REY as well, so there's that. Not only that, you also have some pretty good force cards that make use of the force trait pretty well. Like you got Jedi Lightsaber being a very good upgrade regarding the force, and also the forces with me being a very good force event. So you got Jedi Lightsaber, which gives an extra, with a free cost, gives an extra free stats. So while you won't want to attach this to your leader straight away, you'll probably want to attack with 30 so she can boost herself with 1 experience before she can, and then equip Jedi Lightsaber, because if you do it beforehand, It increases her power, so she's no longer eligible, but if you swing first then equip it, she is then getting the maximum benefit. And while Jedi Lightsaber is on a unit, if it's a Force unit, it gains the on attack, give a defender minus 2 power, well, minus 2 to the stats, meaning 2 less power, 2 less health, to kind of take things out a little bit better. But it makes her a lot better because if you use Rey to attack first, give herself experience to put her to a 3/7, and then put this on, you then make her a 6/10, and then she's pretty hard to take out, and also healing and reducing the power of anything she attacks into. Not only that, you also have the Forces with Me, which is a very good event. 4 costs, but very good because when you play it, you can choose a friendly unit and give 2 experience tokens to it. And then if it's a Force unit, you can also give it a shield token, and then you can potentially attack with it if you want to. So just on its own, it gives you 2 experience tokens and allows you to attack with the unit. But if you've got a Force unit, it gives you that plus an additional shield token to the unit as well. So you can potentially basically use it on Rey or anything else, and as while you've got Rey out, you can use it on anyone because you have a Force unit you control, or you can just use it on a Force unit itself. And then on just a normal non-heroic side of blue, you've got some pretty good cards as well. Like you've got some good not events, but units like Embo and Survivor's Gauntlet. Embo being one that you can't really boost with Rey, but he's got pretty solid stats for its cost, being a 3/4. And when he completes an attack, if he's attacking a unit and is defeated, you heal 2 damage from a unit, being itself for everyone. So that's pretty nice. And you also got Survivor's Gauntlet being a way to kind of move around upgrades. I mean, you can put like a experience token on something that's weak with Rey, and then move it to something that normally you wouldn't be able to choose with Rey. Because it's a 5 cost, 4/6 space unit, that when played or on attack, you can attach an upgrade on a unit to an eligible unit controlled by the same player. So it means you can swing with Rey, choose something that's eligible to give an experience to, and then use Survivor's Gauntlet to then, when you play it or on attack, move that experience to something that you weren't able to put on with Rey, but now can move over. So it's a pretty nice combination of it. You also got some pretty nice events, like you have It By All Things being a very, once again, another Force event that makes more use of if you've got a Force unit, because it's a 2 cost, allows you to heal 3 damage from a unit, so heal 3 off a unit. And if you control a Force unit, you can deal that much damage to another unit. So you can heal 3 off of, say, Rey, and then move 3 and then put 3 damage on something else instead, like something your opponent controls. Not only that, Vigilance is very good with having like instant removal events. Like you got events that can just take something out. So you've got things like Takedown, which can kill anything that's 5 or less health, even a leader, which luckily Rey's out the way of. You've got Fell the Dragon here, which can defeat any non-leader unit that's 5 or more power. You've got Vanquish from set 1 that can take out anything that's not a leader. And you got Rivals 4 being a unit, a 6 cost event, so quite a high costing, but can defeat any unit, even a leader. So you've got very nice ways to kind of just instantly remove stuffing and just heal, and it's a very good aspect for Rey. And that is it. So that is it for helping understand Rey. So hopefully that's helped you understand what Rey wants to do, what Rey can do, and all the different benefits you can get from each of the different aspect combinations. So hopefully it's helped you out there, and if it has, I'm glad I helped you. And that is all the Vigilance leaders. So next we'll be going on to the command side of the units, and we'll be starting off with Hondo Onaka next. So if you're interested in going into the command ones and looking forward to Hondo, then look out for the next one. But apart from that, that is me done for this one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.